Hey, good morning. It's Rupesh. We are live. I am actually live, and happy Thanksgiving, guys. Happy Thanksgiving. I am live from a hotel room. This is a hotel room that we're staying at here in Michigan. I am here in Michigan for a wedding, an Indian wedding. We're going to talk a little bit more about that in a minute. But I want to thank our sponsor for this episode. And I think this is episode number 14. It is Travel Media Group. So if you need marketing, digital marketing help, hit up Travel Media Group because they do reputation management, social. If you're not on social media right now, you're leaving a huge opportunity on the table for somebody else. So definitely call them. Go to travelmediagroup.com and visit their website for full information. So thank you so much, Travel Media, for making this happen. And guys, hit the comments. Let me know where you're watching this from. And I am super excited to have on our guest today because I've been following him for a long time. And by the way, I'm here in Michigan. I've been here for a couple of days. I'm here in Michigan for an Indian wedding, my wife's cousin's wedding. And I'm super excited. So I'm here for a week. We're spending time. I think it's going to snow, which my kids are excited. But this is a courtyard that I'm staying at. And I was actually going to do a competitions where I say, hey, what hotel do you actually think I'm staying at? But I was like, I'm sure people are already going to guess with the background and kind of the pillow, the signature pillow, and this little side bed right here. But guys, let us know where you're listening from. And happy Thanksgiving, guys. Thank you so much for being hospitable, being here, and really being who you are as far as just caring, because that's where hospitality is about, right? We are still, every week, I'm going to be giving away a $50 gift card for an Amazon gift card. So definitely enter your name. Let us know where you're watching this from, city, state, which hotel you're watching it from. And I'm going to randomly pick somebody from the comments, and you're going to win a $50 gift card. And how that works is I send you an email or a direct message here on LinkedIn and say, hey, what's your email? I'm going to send you that digital gift card by Amazon or on Amazon. So let us know. We have a bunch of people already online. Hey, Trevor. Guys, thank you so much. Hit the like button too, because that's part of the contest. And guys, I'm happy because tomorrow's a holiday, and guys, tomorrow's Thanksgiving. Are you working Thanksgiving? Say yes or no if you're working Thanksgiving, because in the hospitality space, we're never closed, right? And a lot of hotels this week and this weekend have special events going on. I know in Daytona, where my properties are, they have Turkey Rod, which is a huge car show, a classic car show, which happens, and we're slammed right the entire week. So do you work? Are you actually working tomorrow, Thanksgiving? And we got some people from London. Hey, guys. Hey, Brett. So Tina says, yeah, she's working. A lot of people are working, right? And I appreciate that. And this is how we do it at our hotel. And I'm sure you kind of split this up too. So if it's an 8-hour shift, we split it up into a few hours so everybody has time with their family at home to enjoy, family really, and that Thanksgiving delicious dinner or lunch that you're having. So we split it up. So do you guys do that at your hotel where, you split up the day, the actual shift into little shifts so everybody can have the time to be home with their family? I think it's super powerful when you can do that and let the team know that, it's not just the GM that's going to be taking some time off or a key member, but everybody gets some time off and get to spend time with their family. I don't know if you can hear look, let me show you where I am. This is my view here in Michigan, staying at the courtyard, and I'm not sure if you hear the highway, but I've enjoyed my stay here. So is my family. We're staying in a room with a king-size bed, and it connects to another room that is 2 double beds. I think it's 2 queens. So we're enjoying this. But hey, let's go ahead and bring on our special guest for today. Now, this special guest has been an award winner within Hilton for multiple years. I'm just going to bring him on because his bio is awesome. I have his bio. I could read the whole thing. It's super long with amazing stuff that he's done. Craig Poole is a Pittsburgh native. He's the president and COO of Reading Hospitality Management Company in Reading, Pennsylvania. He's been in the hospitality business for 50 years. So he has a lot of experience that he's going to share with us. And, one of the biggest things that he's done here recently is had his DoubleTree by Hilton, an award winner for multiple years, which is super exciting to hear that. And he has a bunch of things that he does within the community. So you know what? Let's not wait any longer. Let's bring him on to the show. Welcome, Craig. Yeah, I think you're muted. Hang on. Welcome, Craig. How are you doing?
It's hard to follow you.
I have to listen. I think it's my second cup of coffee right now.
Good for you. It's an honor to be on the show with you. I follow you also for a long time, and I thought, well, how much fun is this going to be that you're on this today, and I get to talk with you.
It's fun. Well,
I watch you at the conferences with more energy than anybody. I thought at one point you might have been an entertainer.
Hey, I love this stuff. I love just sharing ideas, and I love helping others just like you do. So, Craig, tell us about your background. Tell us, how'd you get started into hotels?
Oh, Lord. Back when I think there was all the hotels were down and out back then, the old time. But I started early, when I was 16, like everybody else, probably washing dishes and waiting tables. And I ended up getting a good job at a young age. And then by the time I was 27, I worked harder than most people, and I tried to create great experiences. And I ended up getting a really good job as a vice president of a company when I was 27. And we ran a third of the country for many years. And then I was the original purchaser of Hampton Inns. So we built the 18th, the 21st, and 32nd hotel Hampton Inns in the country when we were a franchisee of back then of Holiday Inn Inc. back then. And then I bought a displaced, bankrupt building in the inner city of Pittsburgh. And I turned it into a world famous jazz club. And it was always one of the top jazz clubs in the world. It was in a high traffic prostitution drug world. And I ended up having, became historic. Two presidents, President Clinton and President Bush came there. If you were famous, anybody came to Pittsburgh back then, you came to the James Street. And I got to learn from the street the values of people and the values of how to run a business in the inner city and how you can do transformation. And I sold that after 17 years. And I actually traveled around and worked in and helped flip properties, turn them around. But mostly for me to go there, they had to be in a marginalized area with marginalized people. I thought I could, and we ended up owning a market share with no capital.
Wow.
And we flipped the hotels minus $3 million, and they lost $3 million. And in 4 years, we made $1 million and with no capital. We took it from 166 out of a brand of 172, and we took it to number 10 because it was all about people. So all my time is spent with people. And when we built this hotel, this is the DoubleTree Hotel. We put $67 million into a 209-room hotel with 27,000 square foot of banquet space. So it's obviously, if you're in the hotel business, it's overpriced.
Yeah.
And we put it in the second poorest city with the second highest crime rate. We put it in a city where nothing's been built since 1991. And when we opened it, everybody said nobody's going to come there because nobody's going to go downtown Reading, and where you find customers from. So I looked at the Star Report this morning. We were at 270% for last week. Right? But we typically, a part of winning awards is having high RevPAR. So our RevPAR is, I think we've been running around 156% for the last 4 years that we've been open.
Wow.
So we own the market, and we not only the market of Berks County, which Reading is in, but also Lehigh Valley, which is Allentown and Bethlehem. So every hotel we go against, and now we're going against Hershey. We're actually bidding against the same piece of business that Hershey Hotel gets. We're taking people from that hotel.
Yeah, that's amazing. And when did you open this DoubleTree?
December 8th, 2015.
Okay. So, and a lot of people say, well, you're brand new. You can be number one. You're brand new. You spent all this money. You have to be number one. Was that your goal, to be number one?
No.
the day you opened, or did it take some time?
The goal was never to be number one. The goal was to build a hotel where if we set the bar of what a city will look like. Nothing's been here, remember, for over 20 years.
Yeah.
The people here have been marginalized and forgotten. They have no self-esteem, and the city has been mismanaged for many, many years, of almost like a really socialistic city where you don't have to go to work because somebody's going to take care of you. So nobody works. It's 96,000 people live here. It's in Berks County, which is Pennsylvania Dutch land, and the population is, out of 96,000, it's 78,000 Latino. It has a lot of unemployment. I think the average house sells for 17,000, 20,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I did a little bit of background and research on you, and before you built this, you were coming to the city where nothing had been built, and you're
Right.
now it's a scary task to take on, where you're coming into this new area. Nobody's here to support you. Nobody's here to do anything for you. You feel like you're on your own, and all of a sudden you have to help everybody else in the community. As you're building your hotel, you have to help everybody else kind of improve their look and feel and the way they operate and all those things. And I read that you helped the community kind of improve what they're doing as far as their storefronts and all those things. So can you tell us about that? Because that's part of the community that you're trying to build.
Right. So I walked the streets and sat on the curb. So I tell people I'm not real smart, but I'm smart enough to know how to sit on a curb and learn from the dirt up, not from the top down. And I got to find out why people were hurting, where people were mismanaged, and what their desires were. So when we hired people here, well, I went to the stores and I said, look, if this works, we will have $1 million worth of displaced business, ancillary income going to you. If you upgrade your business and upgrade your style of how you treat people, then I will send my business to you. So when we opened, I bought 3 vans. Remember, we opened with 1 room, by the way. That was our first big sale, was 1 room. But I had 3 vans because I said, I'm going to take people, as we get successful, I'm going to lead them to these other places so they become successful, so they grow. If this formula worked right, we would be able to grow their income, people who get it, who like the culture we have, who want to upgrade themselves, and they would expand and buy the flea bag place next to them, and they would grow. And we would grow this with people that care. And that's what's happened. So we travel, we take care of people, they take care of us, and you become award winning when you do that. The other thing we did is we hired 220 people when we first opened, thinking that we would scale down to 150. That was what our number was going into this, because we have 27,000 square foot of banquet space.
Yeah.
And what happened was we ended up hiring maybe 200 people that were local, walk to work, we call it.
Yeah.
So they had to live in the city of Reading. These are people that have been forgotten, misplaced, no self-esteem, people that never sat at a banquet table with 3 or 4 forks, 2 spoons, wine glasses, water glasses, and cloth napkins. They weren't familiar, some of these people. So we hired them, we're already at risk. We said, this just increased the risk. And out of those 200 and some people, we probably hired 60 people that had prison records. Because when you're hiring in a marginalized place, what we were looking for wasn't people with skills, because we know we're going to get it. We were looking at people with hope, happiness, people that we can improve their lives. And we wanted to hire a local because we wanted to get into their houses and their diets and their health. So here, I tell everybody that great food isn't just meant for rich people, it's meant for poor people. It's good for their hearts, it's good for their souls, it's good for their self-esteem. Poor people, poor areas, marginalized communities, the people have more diabetes, obesity, heart problems, and it's a taxing on the community. So we thought, well, how can we help the taxing on the community? And so we have a beautiful buffet for every day for lunch. We have a person assigned to it, and we're taking them off of salt, flour, sugar. They have healthy fruits, all the fruits you could imagine, and a meal that's sometimes it's the only meal of the day.
So you provide a meal for every associate at your hotel?
Right. And if they're in trouble in the family, which a lot of people are, we take care of their families too, because their families are important. We also clothe people. We have a care closet, which DoubleTree is interested in putting in everywhere, where the community actually donates Joseph Banks, Brooks Brothers clothes. We have the higher clientele because we have the highest amount of business.
Right.
And so our customers want to join our initiative, and they want to join our movement. So they're bringing their great clothes, and we give back lots and lots of clothes to everybody. We have so many clothes now that we're having them, people have been living on the system, taking clothes and giving it to their next door neighbor or an aunt or an uncle or someone in need, because they have to realize the joy of giving, not just getting. And that's changing lives. Yeah. We have a Blue Cross Blue Shield, 80/20, so they could stay healthy. They have bathrooms here that look like a country club.
For the
employees.
Employees, wow.
Yeah. Because we want to treat them like they're in a country club.
Yeah.
What happens out of this? So we overprice the hotel. We have a laundry room probably the size of 10 laundry rooms. Air conditioned, music. We have a clean area, a place that's a soiled part, and then we have a whole other area that's just for clean. We have it's just a beautiful place to be. So what happens out of this? We have zero unemployment. I could hire people, 100 people a day probably apply to get jobs. I have bank presidents ask to get jobs here. Yeah, wow. For more too.
It's like it sounds like it's working like at Google or something, like some high-tech company where you get like everything taken care of and you feel good about coming to work. Is that what you're doing? You're trying to make this environment where people feel great. It lifts them up. It makes them a different person as far as improving their lives and their families' lives. Is that what you're trying? Is that the goal?
Yeah, the goal was put your focus all on people, and everything else will return. But what happens? I don't have workman's comp. I don't have any. My insurance rates aren't going up. Unemployment and lawsuits, I have none. So all the money that people spend on all that other frivolous stuff, we put into our people, and we have success. Enough success that the hotel's stabilized already. It's profitable, and we're actually refinancing right now. Now think about it: 4 years, $67 million, 209-room hotel in a second poorest city in the United States, being run by, and the award-winning team are the people that never did this before, but we paid attention to them.
Yeah.
We gave them self-esteem. We gave them pride. We gave them self-worth back. And they're the ones, I'm just an older man leading a bunch of people that are doing a great job. So when I go to get these awards, I 90% of the time, except I'd say maybe even more, I didn't bring them to Orlando, but locally, when we get awards, I always bring not the executive team, I bring the team of workers. And I always bring people that have been in the prison system, because that's what people are really interested in what I do.
Yeah.
I have people that have been in prison that do security because they know it better than anybody. And they walk around in suits and ties. And if you went on Salt, if you could see, or TripAdvisor, when you see the names, and I think last year we were number 28 in the United States in TripAdvisor. And I would say, I don't know how to get into it anymore, but I would say I know we're better than number 28 now. So out of all TripAdvisors in the United States, in Americas, I think it is, I'm sure we're at least at 20 ranked.
Wow. And not because of people, it's because of people, right? Taking care of them.
It's the people.
Right.
Yeah. I would ask your readers to go, or listeners to go on TripAdvisor and look what people say. And those names, you'll see my name once in a while, but the names that are important are the people that had a bad life, and now they have a great life.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that it's always about people. I tell our team the same thing. I said, listen, we're an award-winning hotel. It's not because we have a nice lobby. It's not because we have nice rooms. Everybody has a nice room these days, right? It's about you. I can promise you, I can take this team and take it to the hotel that's not performing next door, and we'll make them an award winner. And I love that concept where it's you guys, you're this team that's making the difference. It's not the amenities that you have. That's just like a byproduct of you taking care of them. That's just an expectation, right? But going above and beyond is what I love. And I love that we kind of have that same mindset where it's our team, because we can't do it all ourselves, and just one person can't do it. So how do you, when you're in this, now you're in this neighborhood, it's the second poorest city in the United States. It's distressed. You add a new hotel to it. These people that have never been trained in their life, they might not had education to show that this is how you treat people better, or this is how you run a hotel, or this is how you do hospitality. How do you train them to become the people that they are? Because they didn't grow up this way, right? They didn't grow up being treated and fed, with good food and all these different things. How did you make them feel? Was it training, or how did that start?
So that's a great question. Thanks for asking it. I'm actually going to Madrid to speak to a global company because they discovered what we do here. And we call it fellowship. So fellowship, not leadership, not servant leadership. Everybody says I'm a servant leader. I said, well, thank you. I like to be thought of that way. But I practice something we call fellowship. Follow me, and I will be behind you. Because when you're in an environment like I'm in, people need someone to follow. They might not have had a dad. Most of them didn't have a dad, or somebody's been in prison, or they've had a marginalized life. So if they need to follow somebody, so they follow me. As they follow me, the great thing about this, the selfish part of this is, I get better because I know I'm leading people that I care about. So I have to keep continually improving and pushing it myself and being resilient to everything because I have these people following me. Not only do I have employees following me, but I have a city of people following me, and I have guests following me. Clients follow me. So the responsibility is big because you're leading people. The key stroke here is, and I will be behind you. Because people say, do this, but when they do it and they fail, they get beat up. But if I'm behind you, I have to be behind you. You have to live what you say.
So what does that mean? Saying, like, don't worry about it. We'll get them next time, or we could do it better.
If you fail, we say fail fast, fail quickly. What did you learn? So you become a learning hotel. Everything's about learning. There's nothing here that we do that we don't try to learn from. And that's a culture you have to put into your business. But it has to be real, genuine, and authentic. If it's not authentic and it's not genuine, people read right through it because they've been told this already hundreds of times. And then they find somebody that's authentic and real. And then more people become authentic and real because the taste of this is selflessness, it's joy, and it's just fills your heart with wonder when you see everybody else succeeding around you. The key is I have your back. That's the key, is trust. So you build this, I trust that you're following me and I'm going to lead you. And if you're not following me, I won't keep you here probably. I mean, we terminate too. If you can't fit into the joy of this, I can't let the devil get into the building.
Right.
At any time. So you're always watching where's that person? And how can I help them be successful? But if you can't, then you got to get them out because they'll ruin it for everybody. So I don't have any, I call them fire starters here. None. And that's a terminology we use here. And if they are fire starters, we coach them, and then we change them.
How many times do you coach them? Do you say, like, hey, once, twice? Is it 3 strikes and you're out?
I think it's depending on who it is. We like to say coach, change, but in reality, it's coach, change. So I'm a second chance employer. So you can't be a second chance employer and not give second chances to.
Yeah. So let's talk about that second chance employer. What does that mean? What does that mean?
That means I hire people that have been in the system. So if you have a prison record, or if like we have a lot of people here, maybe we have maybe 50 people here that have prison records, sometimes 20 years of prison. I have two guys that I just brought with me to, we got a President's Award at a university for what we do in the community. So they wanted me to give the keynote be the keynote speaker. Instead, I brought two people that have been in prison 20 years in their life. They're both 40, coincidentally, and they're both have had over 20 years in prison. And they're both great employees. They've been with me 3 years. And both of these people are going to a junior college in town called RAC, and they both have 4.0s, and they're both applying to the same university to get a 4-year degree. So I put them in front of, 500 people that night and said, here, this is the future. This is what the future looks like.
Yeah.
Because we need to build not just hope in the people that work here, the hope of the people that live here, but the hope of the people, our guests, the richer community, wealth. They have to have hope, because that hope will bring the cash downtown to help us transform it. One of the universities, because we've done so well in 4 years, because we're doing so well and we're award winning, and we put it out there. Not that I'm an award winner, but the hotel's an award winner, and it's always the people are the award winners, always, never me.
Yeah.
But I make them keynote speakers. We spoke to 400 people yesterday in Harrisburg, and I brought somebody with me. It wasn't me. This girl had a rough life. Now she's one of the major department heads, and she runs our culture here. So I had her speak yesterday. I spoke some too, but so did she. But we try to always keep that in front of people, that everybody deserves a chance, and everybody can be great if you let them be great. We give people a lot of empowerment, a lot more than they've ever had, because they've been micromanaged. The city was micromanaged. That's why it broke. So if you know why it went down the avenue of failure as a city, it was through micromanagement of the government. And it's been a bad, poorly run city. And when I sat on the curbs for a year and walked the streets, micromanagement was the biggest thing I could see was happening. And then
how? Give us an example.
Well, an example is if somebody here has a restaurant that's famous. It was famous. And I followed this restaurant when I was vice president of another company, and I lived in Boston. But I used to come here to see this restaurant. And so I became friends with this guy, and his business was slipping. And I said, well, you have a tree out here that's crying. The roots are coming up through the concrete, and it looks horrible. And if you got to cut the tree down. And he said, for me to cut the tree down, I have to go through city council. I have to go to there was like 7 people he had to go through to get a tree cut down. And I said, well, I remember we built a hotel along a turnpike once. And what we did is, it was in Cranberry, PA. We went, I can say this now because it's long enough that I can't get arrested for it. But we cut down every tree along the turnpike so they could see our building. We had done it 12 o'clock at night. We hired the landscaper. We just leveled the trees. Now they're all grown up again, but we need to be visible. I said, this is called midnight. Cut the tree down. Well, I can't do that. I'll get fined. I went out to fix a pothole coming up to the hotel. There's a big pothole that everybody had to go over. So I got some, they weren't going to fix it. So I went and bought some hot patch and a stamp and a shovel. And I went out with the hot patch because I was going to do it. And of course, I was going to get a picture of it because I want to make a point that we can take care of this ourselves. And then I got a call that the police were going to, I was going to get fined and I could get sued for fixing a pothole. So it was micromanaged. So we have a lot of empowerment. I'm going to go back to the empowerment. But we also tell people that it's a gift for me. You're empowered to do this. But if you abuse your empowerment, we'll take it away from you. So a lot of people in the cities, a lot of people in hotels, they have empowerment, but they misuse it Doesn't mean they're bad people. They don't know how to use something of that situation. An example is I had a food and beverage director when we first opened, and he had favorites. And he took care of his favorites on the schedule. And he didn't give people he didn't like less hours. And I said, well, you can't do that. I mean, that's not our message. That's not why we're here. We're here to grow families. And he did it again. And I said, well, here's what's going to happen. You can't do schedules anymore. But the great thing is I'm not going to fire you. He was livid. He said, I'm the food and beverage director, and you're not going to let me do schedules. I said, no, because you're not fair. You're a great person. You do other things great, but you have this thing that you have a power situation in your life, and I'm going to remove it until you decide to grow up, until you realize that I'm going to give it to somebody who cares about people. And you do what you do, do what you do best, and let him do the schedules, and life will be good. It didn't work out because he wanted to micromanage it and do his thing. But, life moves on.
Right. Craig, what's another example of empowerment at your hotel? How do you have your associates, front desk, housekeeping? How does someone empower or are empowered to make really good decisions or decisions themselves?
They make them all. So I call it the point of impact. Center of influence. The point of impact. So I use that. You are the point of impact. The waitress, the front desk, the security, who's ever here, the housekeeper. You are the point of impact. You're the center of the whole entire universe when you're in front of them. You're empowered to make it right. You're not empowered to sell the hotel. You're not empowered to do certain things. You have to set guidelines up. It's simple. I use really out-of-the-box guidelines, not just to make the story. And that's what happens. They're the heroes. They make all the decisions. I don't ever get a phone call saying they want to speak to me, ever. Ever. Because I say by the time they come to speak to me, I'm going to do what they want. People have to realize the value of people, the empathy. I guess we speak about empathy. We speak about selflessness. If people are selfless, they'll listen better. If people are selfless, they'll have joy. If people are selfish, they'll be angry. It's a real simple concept. Go look at all your people and your staff, and the people that are angry are selfish people. And the people that are great are selfless. So we hire selfless people. That's what hospitality is.
That's amazing. I think along the lines of us making our team feel special about what they're doing is like one small example is all your employees. Like when you walk into any hotel, the only person that has a business card is the general manager or a director of sales. At our hotels, we have every employee has their own business card, right? Including housekeepers, which is an awesome feeling for somebody that's never had a business card. And these little touch points that you can make people feel special about their job. Craig, I don't know if you do this, but at our hotels, we have this thing. It's called, I just made it up. It's like we live in Orlando. So at Disney, they have their name tag and it says what country they're from, right? Have you seen that?
Right. We have green.
Yeah. I said, how can we take this idea, this concept, because people at Disney feel proud, like, oh yeah, I'm from Africa, or I'm from India, or I'm from China, and they feel proud of the country they're from. So I said, how can we take that same idea and make them feel special at the front desk or at any position, right? So the simple thing was we made a little nameplate up at the front desk. So when you come onto your shift as an associate, it says, hi, my name is Amanda, and I love my hobbies and where I'm from. And their picture, right? And then their business cards. And that makes them feel like I'm taking control over this position that I have right now. And I feel proud about my job, and the team and this hotel cares about me, right? I love that part about people.
That's why you're cool.
I just love thinking outside the box. So I think we have a lot of stuff in common. Let's go back to the community. You said you're involved in a bunch of different, you're on different boards, but Habitat for Humanity is one thing that you guys help out. How hotel connected to Habitats for Humanity?
Well, yeah. So housing in inner city, if you want to be great in the inner city, if you want to make money, if you want to transform it, people focus. This is what I did. I focused on the homeless community, and I studied it deeply. And I lived in it deeply, and I got involved in it deeply. And we hired people from the homeless community. And what I learned, it's all about learning. What did I learn from them? What did they teach me? What they taught me was that most of the homelessness in the city is evictions. So I started following evictions. I thought, okay, I'm going to get into the eviction business. And I started, actually, I helped a lot of people through eviction. We got them apartments and furnished them. And I learned that eviction was a cause of financial literacy. They were making bad decisions and getting evicted, and literacy. So, so eviction and housing are big because they overprice. They take advantage of the poor people here. Drastically take advantage. They charge $1,200 for an apartment or a house for a family of 4, and they don't have the money. They take a 1 month deposit, so they got $2,400 in. They know full well that they're not going to make it, and they're going to keep the $1,200 deposit. So I got into the housing because I was looking for housing that we could teach and give financial literacy to. So the habitat that I work with, we have 75 hours of financial literacy that you have to go through as part of the housing. And I wanted to give my people houses. What I really found out now is that, and what our goal is we're trying to build everybody's credit rating up to 700. So the key in inner city transformation is and you can go to any neighborhood in any city that people are studying, I don't care where you live, if their credit score, if you live in a community of 700 credit scores, you won't have crime, you won't have bad health, you won't have poverty, you won't have truancy, and life changes at 700. So here we have financial literacy courses here that we have. We have
at the hotel or within the community.
I use a credit company, 2 credit companies. We just started it maybe 6 months ago. We have 12 people that I think maybe 12 or 15 people that graduated and have certificates now, and their credit rates, their credit scores are going up, and we're following them, and they're applying for jobs, applying for housing with Habitat Humanity, because we can get them in a house that might cost us $125,000 to build. That if you put these houses in Washington D.C., they'd be $300,000 to $400,000. We can get them in there for $70,000, and their mortgage payment is $600-700. They don't have lead paint. It's a big deal in the inner city. Education's bad because kids get evicted. They go to 6 schools a year. It's this eviction process. So you have little children trying to get an education in a poor city, having lead paint, 6 schools. They can't adjust. They speak Latino, and they're being taught in English. It's a rough deal. So we're working on all that wholeheartedly. I mean, full force. But Habitat is the pinnacle of it. And from that, we feed off to aging in place, because we're going into neighborhoods. We don't want to move people out. We want to improve the lives in the neighborhood. So we went to I went to the hospitals and foundations and said, look, it costs you $100,000 plus to fix a broken hip in an elderly person's house. If you give us $10,000 in that same neighborhood that we're working on a neighborhood at a time right now, but a pretty good neighborhood, we can go fix those people's homes. Plus we can fix the outside, streetscape it. We're teaching financial literacy on that street in a youth home. We're getting people into homes. So we're going to change a neighborhood at a time, maybe 20, 50 homes, looking for businesses, looking for banks, make it legitimate. Right. And it's been a fight. We could get anything here because Habitat would build 1 house a year when I came. Now we're building more But what just happened to us in the last 2 months, we have a million. We just became relevant. We were resilient to get there, just like a business. We became relevant, just like a hotel becomes relevant. It's more successful. And all of a sudden, the last 2 months, we've raised over $1 million, and we're probably going to get another million. So we went from bankruptcy, running on a shoestring, just like opening a hotel, to I met with someone this morning, and I think we're going to probably get about $2 million pretty soon. And now we're relevant, and we can focus on building instead of trying to raise money. But we have a plan. Just like a hotel, you have to have a business plan. You have to have a dream. You have to see what the end looks like. I
love that. So what you've talked about this whole time is just the people. You haven't really talked about how beautiful your property is. You haven't talked about, how much, all the stuff that you have inside your hotel, maybe the restaurant and what you guys serve, any of that stuff. It's always what you talked about right now for the last 41 minutes is about the people. And I love that, because that's what's making you an award winner. That's what's making you a 2-time Connie Award winner. And if you guys, and the viewers, if you don't know what the Hilton Connie Award is, please explain Craig, that is, because that's a huge accomplishment. That's an honor.
So Connie Award winner means you've hit every dream and we're dream makers. So we want to make Hilton's dream true too. Not just the guests, not just the employees, but the brand. So DoubleTree's brand is to be a certain way, to have care. That's a big part of DoubleTree. And we didn't go into this saying we're going to violate anything. We're going to make it better. Because we want DoubleTree to follow us too, because we want to make them better, and we want to know we have their back. But it's all cleanliness, guest scores, RevPAR. I think our overall QAs, we only get one a year, but we're always in the high 90s, so that's important. The funny thing is I have more people working here than anybody.
Yeah.
I have 226 people today working here. My only do 14 rooms.
Yeah. How do you afford that? How do you afford that many people working at your hotel? People are saying, well, I have the same amount of rooms, but we only have like 30 people working here.
Right. How do you afford that? So what's your profit? We make a lot of profit. It's all about profit at the end. We have a restaurant here called Cheers in a hotel in the inner city of second poorest city, second highest crime rate. And it'll probably do $3 million this year. Mm-hmm. It's a beautiful restaurant. And not only did we took the care, all the key points of DoubleTree, and we folded that into our menu, because we wanted to say, here, let's take what DoubleTree has. We'll fold the days of the week that matter to the guests. We folded that right into the food and the drinks. Right. So we took what we get from the brand, because we pay the brand a lot. So we want to take the tools from them. We took what we learned from the city and our guests. In catering, we do this next year. We'll probably do $5 million in catering. So if people add up, they can see the hotel does pretty good. We run about a 92% occupancy Monday through Thursday.
That's great.
Yeah, and then weekends we're last weekend we have to make up things. We had a blues festival. We have one of the biggest blues festivals in the country here. It's out of the hotel, and we have one of the largest worldwide jazz festivals here. So we find where's a shoulder period, and not go hide from a shoulder period, but how do you build a shoulder period to become global, not just a one and done. So we don't look at anything the one and done.
Now we have a question, and guys, thank you so much for all the great comments, all the great viewers that are on. Hey, and guys, if you like this topic, and if you like us doing more of these, hit the like button, and then also don't forget, enter where you're from, because we're giving away a $50 gift card, an Amazon gift card that I'll personally send to you, and enter where you're listening from. And Crystal has a question. She says, besides payroll, how do you reward your employees by making them, how do you recognize them besides the pay? What else are you doing? I know you talked about feeding them every day. You talked about education.
Great question. this is a really good question. Thanks for asking that. So I very rarely go into an office. I'm probably in an office maybe half an hour a day. But I go and I know everybody that works here. I help interview everybody. I'm the Wizard of Oz. For you to get in, you have to go to the wizard because I want to make sure I don't let the devil get into the business. I recognize and appreciate everybody. And so I might have a hand bump. I might have a side hug. I might have a whole hug. I might have a name for them. They have a name for me, but it's all about people. That's the most important thing people want to do is be recognized and appreciated. And they want to know that you care for them and that you'll be there for them. That's why we call it fellowship. They don't need, and everybody has a different need. They're not all the same. And we tell people that, we help furnish, we help people get apartments. We help furnish people's places. We help feed people, but it's for them, each one individually. So we created this culture of people that care about everybody. But I think the most important thing is people want to belong. They want to belong to the people they work with. So we have what we call Table 45. And I'm going to write a book on that. Actually, I'm meeting with a writer now where that's not a plug, but it's true. It's a table that everybody sits at every day, or it's an area that they stand on every day, but it's still a table of bonding. On the story, you call it stand-ups, but they're not. They're washed down now. So this is an upscale stand-up, but the stand-up could be an hour because it's time with people is more important than time working sometimes. And by the way, they get their jobs done. They don't get hurt, and you make money. But I know when they know that they care about you, when a housekeeper can go and have a great meal, when they can come to work and have a great shower and a great clean restroom and a great lockers, a great place to put their shoes, and they get welcomed and they feel a part of a movement, a bigger movement than a job, a purpose of being here. I'm here. Why? If you came here and you asked 180 of the people that work here, I would say, and you said, "What do you do here?" They would say, "I clean the rooms, but what I really do is I'm changing the city." And that's the big purpose. And so if you're moving on the big purpose of the business, people buy, and when they buy in, they see their jobs as a more valuable part of life and a bigger movement than just a job. I think that's the key with the people that work here. They know their big movement. They know that those awards are their awards.
I'm reading the comments here. Diana says, you also have staff obtain citizenship. That's huge. How do you make that happen?
Yeah. So DECA became a big thing. And I said, rather than fight it, I'll just get people citizenship. So I went to ESL, English to Spanish. We gave them that courses. And then I paid for some citizenships because I want to make a statement, not just to the people here, but to the community. You don't have to be hiding. It's not that big of a deal to get somebody a citizenship. It's a big deal for the person getting the citizenship.
Huge.
But for us to help do it as employers, it's not a big deal. We have wealthy companies. We have people with a lot of wealth, people that make a lot of profit. That goes to where? I don't know where it goes to. The shareholder value, whatever that's called. We take the shareholder value and we give it to the employee. When we built this, we said to the people, we all had some money. We're not poor. We didn't build it to make a profit. We built it to make enough money so we could help change the city. Ironically, it made more money than we ever imagined, and it made a bigger impact on the city. But the profit did not drive. The profit drove us so we could become stabilized. We never imagined in a million years, the investors ever imagined that this would be stabilized in year 3, ever. Yeah. We would never in a million years imagine we'd be refinancing in year 4. Sure. Never. and we're going to make a lot of money on the refinancing. And already we're trying to figure out how to put that back in employee improvements, not into pockets. And what will happen is we're going to make more money. I don't know how, but I've always have. For somehow,
find a way, right?
Well, for somehow God's bigger than I am, that's for sure, and He blesses us and in abundance, and we get abundance. And so I just keep moving this way. I could go to anybody's city. It doesn't care. I've had mostly bad properties because that's what I work in. And then they build a new hotel next door, opens up, and they say, well, look, they're getting new TVs. I said, but they're not getting new people. They have the same ownership. As long as they have the same ownership, we're ahead, because they're going to scrape it down again and they're going to bury it, and we'll be ahead. And so far in my life, 53 years of being in this business, and like everybody here, I worked 18, 20 hours a day. So I have 100 years of experience. I've watched this work. And I think, why don't people do this? Why don't you care like we care? That's what. I'm not smart. I figured it out.
Yeah, and I love that. We just had 2 meetings here. We had 2 staff meetings. So around every quarter, we do a training for the entire staff. So everybody comes on board. Everybody comes in a room, and we talk about caring. We talk about hospitality. We talk about reviews. We talk about all the stuff that kind of helps them improve themselves, not just the hotel, right? We talk about life lessons that, hey, we all know that we're not going to be at this hotel forever. We know that we're not going to be in this certain position forever. But if you can learn something that's going to take you to the next step, I'm happy for you, right? And that's what we did. So here's my quick story about people. So the last 2 weeks, we did a full staff training, and we started off with, everybody's going through something, right? Craig, you're going through something right now. I'm going through something right now, and everybody's going through something. And I stood up, and our GM stood up, and the other GM stood up and said, listen, we're all going through something. And I said, guys, who's actually going through something in their life right now? Raise your hand. And I raised my hand. I said, I'm going through something, right? And a few other people, I said, who wants to talk about it? And one person said, I don't know. And I said, all right, I'll go first. 3 months ago, my mom had found out she had breast cancer. I brought her to Orlando, and we got her treatment, right? And now she had a double mastectomy. This is her 6th week. Today's her 6th week of having chemotherapy. So we're going, and I take her every week. This is the only week I haven't taken her chemotherapy, right? But everybody is going through something. So then some other people stood up and said, I'm going through this. I'm going through this struggle. And that's the fun thing about when you've built a community, you built a culture, you could talk about things, and we can learn from each other, because, somebody might be walking in and they're mad, but if we don't know what's going on with them, we just automatically judge them, right? And I feel that was powerful, that we can all talk about this. When you're kind of like a family, like you are at your hotel, we should all sometimes talk about what we're going through, because if I just guess what you're going through, I might be totally wrong, right? And so that was a powerful lesson that we had, as far as a culture that we say, listen, I need to know what you're going through, so that way we can help you, and that way we can support you, because it's not easy, and everybody's going through something in your lives, and so I love that we can kind of make our people feel special and make them feel proud and teach them something. We're not going to be here forever, but if we can just teach you 1 or 2 lessons, or a lesson every week, I love that. And I love that you said you bring people to your meetings, your different speaking engagements, because it's powerful for them, because they've never had that opportunity to speak in front of a big group. And even something small like, hey, the next time we have a group meeting, nominate 2 people to speak that you just pick. Like, hey, next time you're speaking about something in hospitality, or teach how to cook your favorite dish. Give us 5 minutes of your time, and stand up and make people feel special. Make them fight their fears, because that's a big part about public speaking, is fighting your fear of doing that. Because I was there, right? I was like, oh, I'm sweating and I'm doing all those things. But once you get in front of people, I feel like it's super powerful. So I love that you're doing all of these things that have made you award winning, and that's that's the key. And so going back to you being an award winner.
I want to go back to, I think, Veronica's question.
Yeah.
What do we do? I don't want to miss this. We looked at this yesterday, because I was with my director of human resources. I said, how many people have been promoted from within? She says around 35 or 40. So my managers have been promoted from within. I can tell you, because yesterday when we spoke to this group, I wanted to speak about a person that made $10 or $12 an hour 4 years ago making $60,000 a year. Somebody making $30,000 a year 4 years ago making $75,000 or $80,000 a year. So we have to pay people right, and we have to use the success. When people know that they can get promoted, it's not about money, but about being recognized, about being, this is my gift and I can use it better. They will move 100 miles for you and they'll do great work. But if they don't know they can get promoted, if you get promoted over that, and if you don't pay them properly, pay is not as important as recognizing and being appreciated. But pay is still important to get their lives right so you can help get them into homes. For us, it's about home ownership. But
that's great. So what are some other ways we can, as hoteliers, that maybe we don't have a big hotel, maybe we have a 50 room, 75 room, mid-scale economy brand. How do we become award winner?
Get out of your office. Go figure that out. I don't sit in my office, and we do pretty good. I do some of the work at my house because nobody's there and nobody is, I can do it quietly. That's where I do most of my emails. And I go to hotels. I can't tell you because I'm always out in the public. How many people say, I've traveled around the world. I'm a lifetime diamond. I'm a lifetime whatever award winner in a hotel. I'm a lifetime, and I've never met the owner. I've never met the manager. Anytime. I have 2 million points. And I've never met a GM of a hotel. That saddens me. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know. My problem is, and I have a blog that we call Humanizing Profit, is that I think corporations, I think management companies are struggling pulling these GMs back and making them robots. They're not robots, they're people. And they let them go out, and if they're in the hospitality, be in the hospitality. Somebody taught me a long time ago, do you work in the business or do you work on the business? So if you work on the business, you work on hospitality. That means you manage a hotel, sitting in your office, doing your emails and whatever you do, trying to figure out why you're losing your business. And there's people like you and me that work in the business hospitality. We work in the heart of it, the pulse of it, the heartbeat. We're out working it. We get it. You're watching the movement. You're at the point of impact, back to the point of impact. You're humanized because now you're with the people. You can feel the results of your decisions, but you can't feel the results if you're sitting in an office. So if I had to say anything to anybody, I've been doing this for a few years. Back before we had to be in the offices, back before we had computers, back before we had cell phones, we had fun. And so I decided I'm going to have fun to the day I die. And I'm having a blast. I've never had more fun in my life. And I think, and I'm in the hospitality business, but I'm in it, not on it.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel the same way. Like if you're a general, and I get these calls every week. I do training with hotels, and I speak to hotel management companies, and I'm on property at places I don't even know because they call me in. But they say, how can I be an award winner? How can I raise my scores? I'm like, all right, well, what's your process? And are you spending time at breakfast? Are you meeting your guests? Are you doing these things that are building know, like, and trust with your guests? And they say, no, I don't have time for that. I don't want to get up that early in the morning. And they have all these excuses.
Lost you.
When you're talking about hospitality, like if you want to raise your service scores, go spend time in breakfast and ask guests, Mr. Smith, how was your stay? I see that I've seen your face a few times this week. I'm the general manager. I make sure you leave extremely happy and get feedback from them. And I guarantee you start connecting with a bunch of guests, you're going to feel like you are different than the hotel they stayed at last night, right?
Recognize, appreciate. Same thing here. At 7 o'clock in the morning, I'm in the lobby every day.
Yeah.
because that's where all the business is. That's where my leads are. I call it my farm because I find out why they're here. If something's good, something bad. If I can find out if there's a new business coming, I work with the Chamber of Commerce, the Regional Alliance. I said, I'm the first one to know many times when a new developer is coming in because they're staying here overnight, and I'll meet them and I'll say, what are you here for? Oh, we're looking at a piece of property. Well, I got it. So let's land that piece of business and bring it into Berks County. I have that ability, but nobody else has.
Yeah.
So we're here, and we're in the lobby at night. We're everywhere because we want to be ever present. People come here to have a great experience, and you have to give them that great experience.
Yeah. Well, it's about giving. It's about giving, right? It's about giving and sharing, and that's what I believe. And this is a perfect conversation because tomorrow's Thanksgiving. And Craig, what are you doing tomorrow with your team?
Oh my! So we have a pretty good size reservations, and at 4:00 we're done. And at 4:00, they're all we stop. Their families will come in and they'll have Thanksgiving dinner here for free. So we have everybody stops doing everything and just done. Let's go eat dinner together. Let's have a nice Thanksgiving together. My family's coming in. We'll have dinner at 4:00 with everybody else. And my table, I call it my table 45, where we talk about the day and share our thoughts and share our thanks. And
yeah, well, I want to thank you for being on and sharing your wisdom and sharing your inspiration, because it's not, we feel like we're just on our own, but really at the end of the day, it's our team that can help us grow, and we help them grow too and raise them up, because sometimes we know things that we're not sharing with them. And I love that part about this business, where you can inspire people to kind of become something better. And here's what somebody told me a long time ago. They said, "You've changed." I said, "Great, that's awesome." You know what people say? "Oh, you've changed." Either you've changed for the good or you've changed for the bad, right? Or worse. And if you know yourself that you've changed for the good,
right,
you should change. And if you didn't change, something's wrong with you, right? And so when someone says you've changed, that's a good thing. Let and be proud of it, right?
Yeah, you're great. I'm glad you invited me to do this. I don't know if I did a good job or not. Oprah Winfrey said when she does an interview with anybody, it doesn't matter how famous, kings and queens and high-end celebrities, the one thing they ask when it's over is, how well did I do?
Guys, how did Craig do? How did Craig do? Hit the comments. Let us know exactly how we did. We have 91 people right now watching. Let us know how he did, because it's recognition, like we talked about. Everybody wants to know how.
For me, I was going to say I'd like to be with you today.
Well, it was a pleasure having you on board. Learning more. I'm sure we're going to continue connecting, and I definitely want to meet you the next time. I know we missed each other at the Hilton Owners Conference. You received accolades on stage, and I love that. I took a picture, and I actually sent it to you because I was like, oh my God, Craig's winning an award. And it was just fun to see you out there being recognized. And I feel like that's what we're here for. It's just sharing our passion, and then hopefully you can help somebody else improve theirs, because that's what we're here for, right?
We always have an outreach to my preference is to help people that are in marginalized communities because they need a chance. My passion is for people that have had a rough life because they need a chance. My success has been because of people that I gave second chances to. It's not they're the ones who helped me be who I am. So that's what I understand and know. So I have different cities calling right now and that are trying to put hotels in, and different cities trying to put different businesses in.
Sure.
And they're reaching out. But I always say to them, you got to have the heart. And if I'm going to speak to a city, I want to speak to the mayor because he's got to have the same culture. If I'm going to speak to a company, I want to speak to the president or the owner or the who's in charge, because I don't want to paint a dream of success of how I live and then them not get to do it.
Yeah. And if you're just talking to part of the company or part of the organization, not everybody gets it. Not everybody understands the culture there.
And so I don't want to waste. At my age, we're in a hurry to help improve people's lives. People are important. The most important thing about the business.
Craig, you've done a great job. I really enjoyed your story. I enjoy that you continue doing what you love and having fun, which is the best part about the hospitality business. You can either have fun or you can make it bad. It's in your head, right? I feel like you can make it the best day ever, but and you can't let other people bring you down. So how can our viewers, how can these people that are listening and watching continue getting inspiration from you? How can they connect with you?
Well, we have a podcast called Humanizing Profit that somebody named Tony Reese and I do. We're not, it's my bad. We're not consistent with it, but we're learning. I'm the holding it back. So we're hoping that goes further. They can text me or send me an email. You have my email. It's craig.poole@hilton.com. That's Craig, CRAIG .POOLE@hilton.com. My phone number, I'll give you that. It's 412-716-6201. I don't answer it if I don't see the name, but I do return phone calls as they come in.
Yeah.
And we're here to help people. It doesn't matter. I have 24 hours I can work, so I've been blessed with 24 hours, so I can do it still.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I love seeing your journey, and I love seeing what you're doing. And congratulations on all the success. I mean, you're an award winner. You've had all this experience, and I'm sure you're not stopping tomorrow. So I'm going to continue following you guys. Follow him on right here. Follow him on LinkedIn. Definitely connect with him, man.
Get on my Facebook. My Facebook's very active.
Yeah, how do people connect with you on Facebook?
Well, Craig Poole, I don't know, Reading, PA. I post a lot about what we do here. You'll read a lot of comments what we do here. It's not about me. Very rarely. Sometimes it's my wife or my kids, but most of the time it's what we're doing in the city. And we have a lot of likes, a lot of comments that I think you'd be interested in the comments. And the other thing is go look us up on TripAdvisor, because that's the story that I can't write myself, that somebody else wrote, and see how many names of the people, what they did here. You're going to be, not my name, look at the names of all the people. And every time like today, there was, I can't remember. Well, Ashley was last night. Today, the names, when I see them, I make sure I tell everybody thank you when I see their name.
So you say, oh my God, you're like, Ashley, I just saw your name. Congratulations, high five. Thank you so much.
Sure, because it's recognizing people for their success. If I read it and don't do anything with it, then I shouldn't have read it. It makes me feel good, and that's not fair.
Yeah.
They might not have read it, and if they read it and I congratulate them, that's important to people. It means something. It means a lot more.
Well, good. It's a pleasure having you on. It was an honor having you on. Happy Thanksgiving. Have a great holiday season. And guys, hit the like button if you love this, or the heart button if you love this. Mr. Poole, thank you so much for being on. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. And I love Indian weddings. I love where you're at today. They're the best time in the world. 3 days or 4 days? How many?
It's we got here Monday, and we're starting tonight, and it's going to end Sunday morning. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Although we're expecting some bad weather outside. Look, you're already starting to see it outside. It's getting windy and some other things, but I think we're going to have a great time. So
you'll be outside Saturday morning, walking around the building.
I think it's going to snow too, which my kids are excited. So happy Thanksgiving. Thank you so much for being on. We'll connect soon. All right, talk to you soon.
Thank you. Thanks. God bless you.
Bye-bye. Guys, what'd you think about this? Craig Poole has so much experience. He's brought so much to the table. He has this community that he's built. And, it's just from asking, it's being involved. And I love that part of the business where, if you have an idea, if you have something and if you're passionate about it, something, go ask for it. Don't wait for somebody to come to you. If you want to be on a board, go ask to be on a board, right? And I love that don't wait for others, right? And this is just a lesson that I love teaching. Like, if you want something, go ask for it, because that's a better chance for you to get it. And guess what? If they say no, ask for it again until you get it and you continue trying, right? Guys, happy Thanksgiving. Don't forget to hit the like and share button on below, and talk to you soon. Talk to you next week. Next week's talking about social marketing and all the social channels you need to be on. Thank you so much to my sponsor for this episode, Travel Media Group. Hit up Travel Media Group for your reputation management solutions. If you need more reviews, you need to improve your reviews and ratings. If you need to be on social media, go to travelmediagroup.com. Thank you so much. Happy Thanksgiving. Talk to you next week. Bye.